Welcome back everyone, I'm the Depressed Viewer and this is Dark Souls 3. If we ignore all the optional areas, we have one area left and a boss and then the final boss. That's pretty much it. Now if we include the extra stuff, which we will be doing, we have 3 optional areas, technically, to go to. But first, I missed a side area over here in Lothric Castle, so we're going to go knock that out real quick, and then we will go to the poisonous marsh that's apparently beneath this castle. Sorry for not showing too much of the pyromancy. I mean, Black Fire Orb is really good and all that. It's just most of the spells have such they're so slow is the issue. Since everything is so freaking aggressive in this game. I did see an interesting like PvP build where someone was using like the gold spear and using sorceries with that. The sorceries are all like really fast spells or the melee spells. Which is still a unique build, but it's not something we can really take advantage of. Anyway, the main thing to note here is the elevator that's broken or can't use from this side. It leads straight towards like pretty much the end of the archives, just about. And my cat's deciding to jump on the desk. Alright. There we go. Alright, over here, red tearstone ring. That will increase your attack power if you get low on health. Some people build builds around having low health. Anyway, down here is a fall, which I'll quickly deal with. It is kind of nice that the cat ring does not make negates all damage. I certainly don't mind that, because so many of the hidden areas require you to fall a distance. Just being able to flat out negate it is rather nice. Alright, so Catha's Chime, I think that's a good chime to use with dark. I don't really remember. And over there you can see 2 knights. To be honest, I mean, that path over there leads around towards the under the bridge back where the dragons were and had those guys that could transform and all that shit. I don't think you really need to go down there, so I'm just gonna go ahead and teleport out. As the frame rate decides to choke. There we go. Now to deal with annoying areas. Let's see, let's go... yeah, Lothric Castle's fine. This upcoming area pretty much has everything I don't like fighting. Which is unfortunately the majority of the enemies in this game. So yeah, down there's marsh, and you probably heard some sort of roaring in the distance. And over here we got this guy. God, that reach is so good. All knights drop large shards now, so joy. Alright, so there's an elevator that goes down, and you can actually jump off this elevator partway through. There you go. If you let it go all the way down, you will be pretty much in marsh, and you'll have to quickly get out of it. Let's see, yep, over here. So over here is an Estus shard, which we can cash in later. And then over here, you can drop down on this thing. Get a Titanite chunk. You can technically jump over there if you really want to, but there's no benefit in doing so. And this place is filled with marsh, corrupted humans, or whatever they're called, corrupted undead. This area is marsh, but it does toxic, very much like the jails. I don't think there's anything around the elevator itself, so I'm going to ignore it. But over here, it's a ring of sacrifice. And there you go. Up here is another one of those clerics. Too bad, I usually have a lot more trouble with them. I still took a hit, but it could have been a lot worse. Alright, so a bunch of these underneath us are a few items, as well as an armor set, as well as a bunch of slugs. So be aware of that. So we definitely need to deal with the corrupted guys. I do have a fire weapon, so that does help a lot. Oh my god, I can't freaking see. I like how the rear back of their attack is faster than mine, even though it goes more distance. Alright. Thanks, game. Thank you for having a wonderful camera that you haven't fixed in 5 games. Come on, I know you're coming. Roll, roll. So I just purposely removed my camera, turned my camera off so I can go in the direction I actually want to go. And they drop aggro pretty quickly, so... Well, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, because it's completely inconsistent. Yay, I'm good at pronouncing words. Alright. So yeah, there's slugs all over this place. Well, not all over, it's just around this area, especially underneath it. But I'm going to take out everything that's around this area before doing anything else. These undead do get up. Alright, you know, that's cool. I didn't want to actually fight you anyway. Pretty much I just let the cooldown for the stun effect to wear off so I can stun them a second time and then finish them off. It's just a lot easier to deal with. I think that's all of them. Yep, that is all the corrupted ones. I don't know if these guys transform. I usually just kill them before they get a chance to. Like so. And then we can go up there and all that good stuff. I have 2 of those purple fancy purple moss things that removes toxic. So I'll definitely be using those when I get the chance. And we're already almost at the boss, because these areas are super short. Practically all the levels are super short. I mean, the areas are cool, they look nice, and they don't have too many death pits. In fact, they have practically no death pits. But, sheesh, they're short. And they're all very, very linear. Anyway, our quote-unquote shortcut's over there. Go through that in a second. This is where you can get more Titanite chunks if you want to just get them really early after defeating the Dancer. Okay. I like how you might have noticed I jumped, but my toxic still went up. So these jumping actually doesn't seem to actually remove you from the floor that you're on or something, because it still lets you build up status effects. Also, whenever you're doing like backstabs or riposte and things like that, you can't be hit. But if you happen to do those while on Toxic Marsh, you still build up status effects. Try to explain that one. Alright, I'm just gonna grab these items and get out of here. So that was the shadow set, which is pretty much just like ninja armor. It's not bad. And then there was of course the claws, which are things like, I think it's classified as a Satas, but I don't remember. So right here, yep, it's classified as a claw. So it's like the only claw in the game. And from what I've heard, the claws aren't that great. So pointless ahead, thank you. Alright, so I want to go up here. And there is an elevator up here. There is a spot where we can drop off, but we're not going to do that just yet, because this is our shortcut. I did not actually want it to go down. Well, let that finish. There we go. Pull that back up. Alright. I haven't really been looking around too much. I have mentioned that this game looks really, really nice. I do like how they kind of fill the areas with a lot of clutter, like actual tables, chairs, and things like that. Dark Souls 2 only did that for like the first few areas, and then the rest of them are pretty much just empty rooms with not the best textures. Anyway, up here you got some, I guess you call them hunchbacks, though they're not really hunchbacks. But there's one that's shooting from there. There's two casters up there. There's one hanging on the wall, and there's another one that's hanging on the wall. Took 2 hits because he got buffed by the casters up there. Sorry, Night Scale. Also, the other reason why I haven't been using magic that much is it's simply faster to kill things with a spear. my spear does almost as much damage as my black fire orb in most cases. Anyway, so yeah, we're back here. You can see the knight that we initially killed and all that good stuff. I have 8 Estus left, and I still have 2 knights to fight. If I can do well enough on them, I could try fighting the boss. The boss is, I don't know, bipolar. I don't know. I say that because the first time I fought him, I beat him on the first try practically. Like, I didn't have any issues whatsoever fighting him. But the second time and the third time that I fought him, he got, I don't know, he got really difficult. Supposedly there was a bug involving him where he thought the AI thought you were dead and therefore just did his victory animation or something like that, and so you just got a bunch of free hits. Which I guess that's why I did so well in the first one. But probably the most annoying thing is he has essentially a no frame charge. Like there's no way to see it coming in most cases, and there's no way to really avoid it. It's also ridiculously fast, just like the other charge moves in this game. And it does a ton of damage on top of that, so it's really annoying. He has 2 phases. Dragon Scale Ring gives you resistances, gives you extra defense against backstabs. Anyway, so yeah. So yeah, the charge move was really annoying to deal with in phase 2. In phase 1, what you have to deal with is his jumping. Very much like those stupid grooves that like to jump straight up in the air and stomp you. This boss has something similar, and I always find myself getting stomped a lot of times. Alright, so there's a knight there and a knight over there. These are two-handed sword knights, which are the worst ones to deal with. That went as good as it could possibly get for that fight. Alright. You definitely want to kill these knights because one of them does drop an item, especially this one. Oh, what is that reach? Oh, wow. Well, here's my Ember. Good news is we do have the shortcut. Bad news is I'm gonna have to fight those knights. You can actually run by them after you've dealt with them the first time, because like I said, one of them does have a ring. Everything hits so hard in this game. I mean, I could wear slightly better armor. I can wear the knight set, but for the most part, it wouldn't really make that much of a difference. Alright. And you might be thinking, well, you know, he's using a greatsword, so obviously he has to do more damage. But enemies that don't have greatswords, like knights that have just regular swords or a mace, still do about that much damage. In some cases, they might do more. Which I guess is very accurate with the game. Oh, come on! First of all, this thing has a roof. How did he fall through it? Hey, one of my messages got raided, so I got healed for that little bit of damage I took. Unfortunately, to kill the second knight, I have to kill the first one again. He's gonna be in the way. Anyway, why is it there? Why is my souls there when I died, like, right here? Why, game? Why'd you put my souls right there? Don't worry, I'll wait. You can come up with an answer. Trying to target. At least hit you faster. No, you'll just poise through it because you have the actual poise mechanic equipped. Alright. These are not fun to fight at all. You'd be like, oh, you can just parry them. But that seems to be the default answer to every issue I have with enemies. Oh, you can just parry them. I honestly hate the parry mechanic. Probably, I mean, I guess I wouldn't have as much of an issue with it if it was just kind of like a PvE only thing, but for PvP there's not much you can do about it. There's not really a counter for it. You can kick, but kicking's easy to see coming. Anyway, Magic Stone Plate Ring gives you additional absorption against magic. And down here's the boss. Well, at least I have full Estus. Not that it's going to make much of a difference. Alright. I'll try not to talk too much during this fight, because this is one of the few fights where he does talk. And once again, this boss is... I guess the theme of this boss is very similar to one from Bloodborne, so have fun with that, I guess.
You ignorant slaves. Finally taken notice, have you? Of the power of my beloved Ocelot, child of dragons. Well, I will not give him up. For he is all that I have. Come out. Don't be afraid. Child of dragons, what could you possibly fear? Now, show yourself, Ocelot. My dear little Ocelot.
Alright, let's talk about the boss. You might have noticed I dropped at some multiple points. I just decided to drop off lock on and try to attack manually. This was an issue I actually had with Saki as well, and Saki had slashing attacks. Now apparently I didn't really notice until this fight. Ocelot or not Ocelot. What is this freaking name? Osiris. He has two targeting locations, upper and lower body. There's not really any difference as far as damage is concerned, but it does influence how you swing. So apparently my default target was the upper body, which actually reduced my attack range because I was attacking upwards at an angle. But worse than that is his body shape is in a way that it's very easy to attack between his legs or miss his arms and things like that. One of the ways I fought him with like a slashing weapon was I just ignored targeting him entirely, and whenever he was doing things like cast that little small point blank AoE in the first phase, I would aim for his tail because his tail can be hit and it's actually incredibly long and it goes outside the AoE range. But in phase 2, he becomes far more aggressive. The main thing you got to do is try to find ways to make his AI not do the charge, because the charge is ridiculously hard to avoid, as you probably have noticed. I managed to dodge the first one. Every one after that, I failed to dodge entirely. You might have even heard me rapidly hitting a button. I'm not sure if it came on through the mic, but that was me trying to dodge it. Like, I was pressing dodge, but I was still getting hit because, one, there's an input delay because, you know, From Software likes input delays for some reason, and the other is there is literally like a frame of preparation for the charge before it begins, and the charge is so fast that it will get to you before you can dodge, because this, I don't know, From Software really likes zero frame, you know, 1 or 0 frame charge attacks that you can't avoid. And if you happen to be underneath them, like, which is usually the safe spot for most of these types of bosses, that charge will hit you every time. So what I usually do is I stand in front of him to make him do his like multi-hit swinging combo, and that's easy enough to avoid. In fact, you could probably do it without even rolling because its hit boxes are not that great. The problem with that, of course, is the fact after he does his flailing combo, he ends it with a dash, which puts him really, really far away from you, so you have a lot of trouble hitting him. But yeah, so that is the boss. He was holding a baby that didn't exist. Yeah, he's kind of messed up. Now, something to note about this soul is you can get the Moonlight Greatsword with this soul. So yeah, you know, 95% through the game, you can finally get the Moonlight Greatsword, which is an actually good intelligence weapon. In fact, I think it's a weapon I might have showed off in Dark Souls 2. Moonlight Greatsword's in pretty much all of From Software's games. All of them, even before Demon Souls. Anyway, I didn't actually read the info about the Dragon Slayer armor, so I'll do that right now. The Dragon Slayer armor controlled by the Pilgrim Butterfly lost its master long ago, and still remembers their sporting hunts. And then consumed Osiris. Osiris went mad trying to harness his royal blood for a greater purpose, leading him to the heretics of the Grand Archives, where he discovered the twisted worship of Seath the Pale Drake. Seath is a dragon from Dark Souls 1, and he pretty much ran the archives, and he did a bunch of experiments and stuff like that. And it looks like Osiris decided to continue his work in trying to produce an offspring. So I'll go ahead and light this bonfire. Also, one of my messages got raided. I never checked which one it was. No. It was this one. Sure, I'll save it. Kinda wish you could have more than 10 messages. 20 would have been probably more than enough. Anyway. Up here are a bunch of dead bodies. At first they looked kind of like that hunchback guy that died turtle shell on his back, but these guys are actually different. In fact, it's one of these guys, which I'm guessing they're like part dragon or are dragons themselves, because their heads can extend, and you can tell they have like a dragon-like mouth there. They're pretty tough. They attack really quick and stuff like that. Anyway, there's a bunch of chests in here. You got the Titanite scale. There's a bunch of messages here. Yes, I know about it. Titanite scale. Anyway, the secret they're talking about is right here. Which I missed on my first, well, I haven't completed a playthrough yet, but my first few characters that got to this point, well, actually, I think it was just one of them. My first character that got to this point actually missed that hidden wall. Anyway, right here is the Path of the Dragons, which is a emote, and this emote is important because it can get you access to a new area, which is completely optional, so we'll deal with it later. First, we'll do this area because this area is frustrating too. Untended Graves. If you recall the name, that is the same name as the starting area that we had in the beginning of this game. If you look around, it has a very similar look to it, except for the fact that it's plunged in darkness. But first, let's in fact, it's put under the same location as Cemetery of Ash. But I guess we'll talk more about that later. Because it looks like we're just about out of time. So we'll level up and be good to go there.
Welcome home, Ashen One. Speak thine heart's to... Very well, then take...
Should have enough for 2 level ups. We do. Another 3 fire damage.
Farewell, I've made
And I mean, I guess we haven't looked at the boss weapons, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at that. So, Consume Osiris can get you access to the White Dragon Breath, which does send out like a stream of crystals. And down, let's see. Then there's the Moonlight Greatsword. This thing is the legendary dragon weapon associated with Seath the Pale Drake. Charge strong attack to its limit to unleash Moonlight Wave. Cyrus the Consumed King was infatuated with the search for moonlight, but in the end it never revealed itself to him. And then the special skill is Moonlight Vortex, which is where you draw the sword back and then thrust to send out a torrent of moonlight. It does more magic damage than it does physical, and it scales really well with intelligence. But you do need 16 strength and 11 dex to use it. It's a neat weapon, but you're already 90% through the game, so it is what it is. Dragon Slayer armor, you can get his Great Shield, which has the Shield Bash special attack. And you can get his axe, which has the ability to do the Falling Bolt attack, which when you strike the ground, it'll cause a bolt of lightning to strike down as well. And it actually has some pretty good range. I've been hit by it a bunch of times. But it scales with dexterity, but it has no dexterity requirements. But it does require 40 strength to use. Stat-wise, this one's actually pretty decent. I've seen people use this axe, and it does pretty good damage. Also, it scales with faith, so it's not too shabby. We're not using it, of course, because we are Dex, and we will remain Dex until the day we die. Alright, so that is it for that area. I think I'll do one more video after that before I call it a break. And we will try to complete one of the optional areas. So, I am the Depressed Eeyore, and this was Dark Souls 3. See you later.